I felt at the time, the early to mid-70s, that the conceptualism as a kind of strategy was exhausted, and the priority of concept over image seemed somehow a cul-de-sac for art. And in a sense, I jumped boats really at that point. I just felt that the image was the thing to follow. In a way, obsolescence and fragmentation and what happens with time, the forgetting of faces and so on, allows an image to become more of an image. It does the job for me as a collagist. It's already established that distance that's required for fascination. My two biggest image collections are film stills and film portraits of film stars and so on, and postcards. And obviously the combination of those two things is, I found quite magical over the years, and it's a never-ending source of fascination. But there are many, many other areas of my collection. I collect more or less anything, really, that involves the photographic image. I have huge quantities of books on the most unlikely subjects, cookery, pets, none of which have ever been used in my work, but I have this very extensive picture book library. Well, I think the emphasis on the frame or the seam is there as a kind of perversity in this culture, which is so seamless in its presentation of images. We've ceased to be aware of seams, that the space is, if you like, of loss within the image, and so absorbed within the fragment that it's become a sort of seamless continuum in the age of computer technology and TV and so on. In other words, within the electronic image. I suppose the reintroduction of cuts and seams is a sort of mechanical gesture, you might say, against the ground of the electronic seamlessness, sameness. Roland Barthes describes the seam as the site of both loss and of desire, and he refers to fetishism in relationship to this. The edge between clothing and flesh and all this sort of, that's the site both in which you're aware of death, but also it is what I was attracted to, the site of loss, being introduced into the centre of the image somehow. Man Ascending, in a way, brings to the conclusion a whole lot of work done with the film, both film still imagery, using double shadows and so on, and very much focused on the male. And the advent of a new set of work focused on the female, using colour to moving away from the dark, shadowy quality of the earlier work. And it was a moment of epochal change. It was 79 to 80. I remember feeling this was the shift that was going on. So, but interestingly, looking at them together on the same wall, from a perspective of many 30, 40 years on, they seem somehow very much more connected. And that desire to cut into space that both of them represent